All right, today on the Mind Body Mushroom, I'm sitting down with a San Diego entrepreneur who's made his mark by blending community, coffee, and real estate in a uniquely authentic way. Mark Pattison is the founder of PorchLight Cafe and PorchLight Realty, two ventures that reflect his passion for creating welcoming spaces, whether it's through a cup of coffee or a new home. From crafting community driven cafes to redefining how real estate relationships are built, Mark's journey is all about connection, purpose, and pushing the boundaries of what it means to serve. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for making the time. So Porchlight, I know it's in a lot of your stuff. So why the name Porchlight?
It was by random. It was a vendor that I utilized. It was actually her husband came up with the name and said, "Hey," and this is when we were naming my real estate team years ago. Life lesson, if anyone's listening, always make sure if you come up with a business name, get the trademarks, figure that out early on. I didn't realize I was going to be not saying as big as I am, but I'm big enough to where people cared to where I got a cease and desist. So,
Oh, really? Wow.
that's the real estate company. So I'm dealing with that right now as well. So that's where it came from. So I have to rename my company, but not my coffee shop company.
That's good to know. And was there a reason that you kind of wanted to use Porchlight in all your different ventures? What's it kind of mean to you now?
It was a double brand play of, hey, if you're going around the community, my idea is to have 10 coffee shops all around San Diego County. And if you were to, if you have the brand familiar name, you can go and say, oh, I know what that company is. How have I heard of it? Or, oh, it's the coffee shop.
Right.
Oh, you guys are the same brand. So that was the ideal purpose. Now with the rebrand, now that I'm rolled out, you got to figure something else out. But yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's interesting. That's cool. So what inspired you to open a cafe and a real estate firm?
So I've had the real estate company for 8 years now.
Okay.
And the coffee shop has only been open since February, but it's always been an idea that I would love to have a coffee shop. And I had the business plan originally. I'm born and raised from Seattle.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah, coffee's in your blood.
Coffee is kind of what we do.
Yeah.
We don't drink water. We drink a lot of coffee. And that's kind of our lifestyle. So growing up there, I would always go frequent coffee shops with my parents. Constantly espressos, that was having cappuccinos in the afternoon. That was just what you did in Seattle because it's always so cold and rainy. And I studied most of my college years in coffee shops, and I said, well, shit, I kind of want to open up a coffee shop one day. I built this business plan out and opened it up in San Diego. And the business plan, when I did plan it all out, was actually I was based in Seattle at the time, but the plan the entire time was to open one in San Diego.
Oh, interesting.
So it's kind of funny, full circle. 20 years later, I live in San Diego now, and that was not ever the plan. It was just I wanted to be here, but I never had the roadmap to get down here.
Interesting.
And now I have a coffee shop, and I kind of I don't know. It's funny that I put it out there 20 years ago, and now it's happening.
Yeah, so that it's putting it out in the universe, and then
I still have the business plan.
That's
it's literally
funny.
It's upstairs right now on my in this library I have upstairs.
Yeah.
It's still, it's not anywhere near the same. It's a different, it's a coffee shop business plan.
Right.
I was in college, but it's cool to see it was supposed to be a beach cafe in San Diego.
That's wild. So yeah, what brought you out to San Diego?
We have this thing here called sunshine, and Seattle does not.
Yeah. Right.
So I lived in Chicago. Yeah. And I lived in Chicago 2012, I want to say 2013. And it was the worst winter they had in 100 years or something. Polar vortex. Is what they named the winter storm. And I said, shit, I'm never living somewhere cold again.
Yeah.
I love skiing. Chicago's a different level of cold.
Yeah, no, for real.
So I moved here on a whim. I said, hey, I'm going to move to Southern California. The plan was LA. And I was like, I think I like San Diego more. I've been to both cities numerous times, but I was like, I resonate more with San Diego.
Totally.
And so I changed my plan and I moved here 12 years ago. And started real estate almost 11 years ago.
Okay, so that was kind of what you started doing when you moved out here was, and in what capacity? Were you working as a realtor initially or, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, residential real estate sales.
Yeah.
That's what I've always been in.
Yeah.
In California, your license works for both residential and commercial, but my focus is residential. Commercial side, I'll do a couple transactions a year with my team. Now I own a real estate company, PorchLight. And I have 80 something agents that work for that company.
Oh, wow.
So quite large, but it is, the whole focus is residential real estate.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. So in a city like San Diego with a growing cafe scene, how do you stay true to your identity while staying relevant in a competitive market?
My biggest thing is just providing good quality product,
Mm-hmm.
having something that is, you're not, the hard part is right now is the cost of goods is so expensive
Mm-hmm.
and labor.
Yeah.
So your average ticket price for a consumer it's kind of high, but I feel like if I'm going to be paying for something, as long as it's good,
Yeah.
I don't mind spending the money. Like this
Totally.
coffee shop, Heartwork.
Mm-hmm.
So this is in Mission Hills. I was just over there.
Mm-hmm.
This is freaking delicious.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what I paid for it.
Right.
And I don't care. Like I know it wasn't cheap. So,
For sure.
but that's the biggest hard, like focusing and making sure it could be affordable for people to come on a regular basis.
Yeah. Right.
Your profit margins are only
They're
probably $1. Yeah.
totally. Totally. Yeah, I
So
know. It's one of those things where it's like you know, it has to be affordable. It can't be like ridiculous, but at the same time it's like it's if your goal is to save money on coffee, then you should make it at home. That is a much more sensible, like, cost per serving way of doing it.
yeah,
I believe that a big component to the coffee shop is you're kind of buying the experience of that coffee shop, of what it feels like to be there. Is it good? Yeah, it sucks when you pay $5.50 for a cortado and it sucks. No one
yeah,
likes that. But it's, if you're just looking at the, like, unit economics of, like, yeah, everyone's getting ripped off in a sense, because what you should make it at home. But when you're not hiring somebody at minimum wage or California minimum wage, to make it in your house, paying beachfront rent, making it in a nicely curated space with high speed Wi-Fi and a lot of those, factors. So it's like, it's like a gym. You can do push-ups for free outside. Why does, I can't think of the,
fit.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
fit or Equinox or
Equinox, that
Lifetime.
was the one I was like, oh, yeah,
You're paying for the environment.
right, exactly.
And like, yet alone, my insurance bill just for insurance was $12,000.
It's caffeine, dude. I found that when I first started my business, I was doing CBD infused coffee, and CBD is like this whole can of worms of an industry. It's like considered high risk, but you're also legal, but you're also like this, like, sin product. Like, it falls in a really weird category where you're kind of just like, one hand a drug dealer, on the other hand, a completely legal business that requires, all of the regulation and whatever. But going for my liability insurance for product liability, it was as expensive as if I didn't do CBD, and it was an expensive policy, and it's because of caffeine. Caffeine is like one of those, like, gnarly, drugs that gets people all amped, and there was the whole Panera lemonade scandal, like, with people dying on that lemonade. It's like, yeah, so I imagine that is that probably is tough.
Well, and having the proper insurance and making sure that things don't go awry, and then building insurance.
Mm,
Also, if I get a liquor license insurance. I have at
mm,
least workers comp insurance.
right,
All of it, and
right,
then yeah, it's, and then, so like example is like I get taxed on the tips.
really.
So say my team makes $1,000 in tips for the week.
Hmm.
I get taxed at the same tax rate for the tips, but the money never touches me.
Wow, it's just like more income that, yeah.
But I never actually got the income, and I'm
Oh
not
my
even
god,
allowed to touch the tips.
that's
So
wild.
so on your own
Wow.
income, you're paying tax on stuff that you never actually had.
Criminal, dude. That's incredible.
Horrible. It makes zero sense, period. Like there's no way that can be financially, because if I tax
Yeah,
already, I'm paying a sales tax to start.
right.
And then I have to also pay payroll tax, workers comp. Like I mean, you're lucky at the end of a coffee shop to make $5,000 to $10,000, maybe.
That's like a month. Is that kind
In
of
a
like,
month.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's not without any owner pay. That's no management fee. That's nothing. That's
Right.
that's your profit. So if
Right.
you want a general manager added to that,
Yeah.
there goes your 5K. Well, it's actually, it'd be about 5K a month because it's minimum 62,000. I think is the minimum wage you can pay for
Wow.
a full-time salary employed, and
it's a
then
hard 5K to make too. I mean,
and then so now you're at zero.
yeah, exactly. So
Yep.
like, what keeps you kind of pulling you forward? What keeps you going?
I own the building,
Okay.
and I'm paying a mortgage,
Right.
but my goal is like if I just break even and I own the
Yeah.
real estate, then it's a win.
Yeah,
But
totally.
for people that like look around at small business owners, they're not making a ton of money.
Right.
Coffee shops, when someone says, "Oh, the pricing," like I read
know.
reviews on other sites or like
I
things,
know.
I'm like, you have no idea.
You have no idea. I know. I think that, dude, it's one of those things people ask me, like, have you ever thought about opening a coffee shop? And I'm like, yeah, I thought about it, and quickly ran away from that thought because I know what goes into it. It's like people kind of they take a lot of things for granted, or they have this like a romantic, idea of what it's like. And honestly, the romanticism, it sounds like even in your case, is kind of like it's this dream. It's like this aspect to it that, it's not like, pen to paper, like let's get rich selling lattes. Like it's a hard thing to do.
It is if you scale it. That's the thing is once
Right.
you get multiple locations, because then your cost of beans goes down. Your,
Okay.
you know what I mean, and then you can get cheaper workers comp, and like it
Right.
all goes in scales.
I see.
But when you're a one location to probably like 3 or 4, it's probably pretty difficult. When you get to like 10, 15, 20 locations, then it's much easier.
That's what I was going to ask, if 10 was like a magic number for you for kind of that reason.
Yep. And then you're roasting your own beans after probably 5 locations. It makes sense.
Right. That's interesting. Let's see. Now, do you ever hit like a burnout? Or what have you learned about how to avoid it or bounce back from it?
I look tired. I'm like, that's probably burnout. I start crying. No.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fucking fine. No. Yeah, there's times for sure. And I think it's important to like step back and also take a day off, take rest.
Mm-hmm.
I think as entrepreneurs, we're go.
Yeah. Right.
The problem with being an entrepreneur is like, do you like being a parent where people need you all the time for everything?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where I'm good about empowering people to ask during the right times, because if people ask all times throughout the day, it drains you.
Yeah.
Because you're then just servicing like issues and things. But if you say, hey, if it's not an issue you need to handle right now, we do a Tuesday meeting for my real estate company. Yeah. We do a Wednesday meeting for my coffee shop company. Like just put it on the agenda.
Sure. Setting kind of boundaries.
We'll put it in that time frame when I'm thinking about that. But in the interim, like if it's not an immediate issue, don't even message me.
Yeah. That's a really good strategy because, I also kind of do a variety of like different things. Right now I'm studying for the LSAT. I'm trying to, get in my applications for law school, and I'm, and it just feels like there's like an organic flow to like, that's one of the benefits of being an entrepreneur, is that you can kind of create the day and that you want to create. But at the same time, it also just becomes like, you're just getting flooded with this problem. And I think it's hard sometimes for people that don't really know what that experience is like. It's like, you're kind of bringing your work home with you at all times, and if you're not creating boundaries, like you said, it's like, it feels like it can just be one punch after another,
Yep.
Yeah.
Nonstop. Yeah. You just got to be used to it. You're just like, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that's one thing that, I've thought of as, but, as I've gotten, matured into this sort of career field. But something I want to ask you about, it feels like your problems kind of level up with you. There's no dollar amount, or, once I hit here, then everything's going to be good. It just seems like once you get there, it's like a whole new world of problems that you wouldn't have even thought of, prior.
You ever listen to Biggie Smalls?
Yeah. Yeah.
More money, more problems.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No shit, dude.
And
Yeah.
it's a lot bigger problems to where when you're like,
Yeah.
no offense, but it's like
Yeah.
when I'm younger, I'm like, hey, it's a smaller problem. I can call someone to help out. It can be like, hey,
Uh-huh.
can I borrow a few $100?
Right.
Now it's like, I can't call someone for a few $100,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So have you found, has it been just like, okay, you level up, then the problem levels up, then you level up, or have you kind of learned to like acquiesce to this situation and you just have better skills for managing it to where it doesn't feel so overwhelming? Yeah. What's been your perception of your ability to handle these problems?
I think it's to be able to handle it. I mean, it's surrounding yourself with people that you can ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
I think, other entrepreneurs, other friends that you can help with. But man, there's no life book to like, or even education. I mean, I went to business school
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's anywhere near
Yeah.
what, it's nowhere near what,
Yeah.
I have to put into a daily basis of like the
Right.
amount of shit I need to know on a regular basis. So
Totally.
yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like business school it's like one of those things that it's nice to know how businesses operate, especially large businesses, and you kind of like dip your toe a little bit in all of these categories. But I mean, I generally think that like an MBA is really good for a lateral transition from one company to another company, or if you're trying to hit that like next rung of like upper management in a publicly traded company or a company that you can download their 10K off of. But in like the down and dirty realities of like creating something from nothing,
Yeah.
it's a little bit too like neat and tidy and like this is how it works, this is how financial
Yeah.
accounting works, and the reality is it's just not. It's a lot more of a blood sport.
Mine's like doing these things. So this is actually Howard Schultz's book.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
So
sick.
I haven't even started it,
Yeah,
but just bought it. And that's the kind of stuff where like, hey, you want to learn how to do
right.
something, like learn from the greats.
Totally. Yeah.
Other thing too is like ChatGPT. So
Oh my
you
god.
can take like I took all of the financial reporting for like some of the bigger companies that are public for coffee.
Uh-huh.
And like, hey, what did they do in the beginning that, like they wish they didn't do? What
Interesting.
did, like anything they can find online and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like Dutch Brothers.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of franchises
Yeah.
and they would franchise out to like their employees and their friends and family. Now they don't offer that anymore. And what's that telling me is basically is like, don't give up your business early on,
Uh-huh.
and then you're gonna
Right.
regret it and try,
Right.
you're gonna have this problem in the future. Like, look at the other people that are already doing it. Unless you're creating something that is completely new
Mm-hmm.
and it's a new industry, which I'm not smart enough to do that. Just have to copy people.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I'm just gonna go and look at the best, see what they do,
Right.
read their books,
Hmm.
lean into it. And I truly think like I think there's opportunity in coffee. The margins that people talk about, that's not a thing. Like
Uh-huh.
there are, I think, on scale.
Yeah.
But if it's a single owned coffee shop and someone writes a review about pricing,
Mm-hmm.
go open your own coffee shop so you fail.
Right.
No.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's a lot more expensive. No one's making money if you're one
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
So but that's where I kind of learned. I think my education is like YouTube University,
Mm-hmm.
but more so now ChatGPT University because I don't want to watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
YouTube videos are too much on the hype and the like the bullshit.
Clickbait bullshit and like, yeah. Yes,
I don't listen
100%.
to podcasts because most podcast people don't tell you the real truth. They talk
Uh,
about how successful they are and all this stuff. They'll tell
mm-hmm.
you like, hey, this is really what it is. You're making $1 off a cup of coffee,
Right.
and then you have all these other expenses. Like, is it,
Right.
it's not like amazing and phenomenal right from the
Mm-hmm.
start.
Yeah. But people want like if you said that, then no one would watch your video. No one would look to you as some sort of, like beacon of wisdom. They want to know. I mean, think about the world like the fucking Grant Cardones and, all of these. Yeah, that's a point, dude, is that like they're these like
So it's so
guru,
showy.
so showy and it's they're snake oil salesmen. but to a generation of young people that are that feel in some regards like hopeless, or like, fuck man, like I need a big break now, because I see that just work hard and do your thing, like that is kind of a lie as well. So I mean, that's why you see like
They're all lies. Yeah.
you
Corporate world's a lie.
yeah.
Yeah, like corporate world's a lie. The like Grant Cardone's is a lie. Like the rare chance that you get to that level. I mean,
Right.
Grant Cardone's first property or something was in San Diego, actually, and it was
Oh
like
really?
a 34 unit apartment complex.
What?
Don't you think he may have had some help?
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah. So, I mean, mind you, this is
Totally.
years ago. Financing was way easier, but
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
I think his first one was maybe in Texas and he lost it. I don't know,
Mhm.
something happened, but his dad helped on the second one.
Mhm.
Not saying it's not a hustler, it's, but still, it's like, it's not as easy as people act like it's going to be some sign up for this course kind of mentality.
Yeah, well, it's like, dude, he's almost too much of a hustler, in the sense that it's like, okay, if you've unlocked these like amazing, real estate secrets, then why are you selling a course about it? Why don't you just go do it in silence and go make
Crypto courses. I
yeah,
love
yeah,
those.
exactly. I'm making all this money on Amazon drop shipping, and and now if you buy my course, I'll show you how to do it. Like, this doesn't make any sense, dude. How does
Yeah, it's like, why don't
everyone?
you just go do it and not tell anyone?
Yeah, exactly. If it works, that's what you'd be
Yeah.
doing. And but people are looking for, I don't necessarily think it's like an easy money. I mean, maybe that is what it is, but yeah, it seems like it's the unsexy truth about the whole deal that it, really works. So do you
Yeah.
incorporate any holistic practices into your lifestyle? Breath work, cold plunges, functional foods, functional mushrooms, plant-based medicine, anything like that?
None.
None.
I'm horrible.
Do you exercise? Are you
Dude, I had a trainer for 4 years straight, like the same trainer. And I had another one before that for 2 years. And I quit like maybe like 4 months ago.
yeah.
And I was running like a mile a day
Yeah.
and all this stuff. And I just kind of fell out of it. And it
Yeah.
was like I needed a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do need to get back into it. I that's basically like one of the things I do need to focus on, because I do feel much better when I'm
Yeah.
prioritizing health. I do focus on making sure that I'm not I'm not eating fast food ever.
Mhm.
Maybe some In-N-Out once a month, but
Mhm.
like I'm not like going to drive-thrus or anything, and I'll eat
Right.
healthy, but still,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. It feels like for me at least, like having a pillar of like health and wellness is like, even when shit is fucking falling apart, or it's like it's something that kind of has grounded me and been like, all right, well, there's a lot in entrepreneurship, or just like the real world, where it's like it's a very complex environment. There's not right and wrong answers. Like, there's just consequences that you have to deal with, and you will usually learn about these consequences once it's too late. You'll see if that was a good choice or a bad choice, like in retrospect. But there's something like very primal and just sort of like, okay, as long as, like digging a hole, there's something like very satisfying about, just you can see the manifestation of your work. Like, hey, every time I do this motion, it gets better, or I'm stacking these bricks, or and I think there's something that's very like therapeutic and cathartic about going through those motions. So but you
Whereas
gotta put in the work.
I look at it and I'm like, okay, so work's hard. Now I have to go to the fucking gym and I still don't have abs. I'm like, this is all bullshit. No.
Yeah,
I quit everything. I quit
you're
work.
not
I quit
wrong.
the gym. Yeah. I'm gonna be a fat ass bum.
Have you ever explored psychedelics? Is that ever
Yeah.
something? Yeah. I guess you're up in Seattle. Is that when you were kind of in the college days, or?
No,
Yeah.
more so down here. I mean,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's not anything I do like
Yeah.
much at all anyways.
Yeah.
I did go front row to Beyonce concert.
Sick.
I did some there.
Hell yeah.
Beyonce was better. No, Beyonce was actually amazing. I was like, she's the best fucking singer I've ever heard.
I bet.
Don't know if that's true, but I know she's very talented. But I was like, if I'm gonna go to Beyonce, I'm gonna go front row in LA. It was the best. It was such a fun concert.
That's sick. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I always do that. I'm like, if I'm going to go to a concert, I'm going to go to a concert. Like, I'm going to go, I want to see like all the big artists in the world of like who we should see and
Yeah.
see them within like, a few rows.
And did you go to like was it like just to see Beyonce, or was it like a
No, yeah, it was just
sick.
Beyonce's show.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
She opens for herself. She doesn't
Yeah,
even have
yeah, it's true.
when you get to that level, you're like, I'm not dealing with openers.
Yeah, fuck this. That's rad. In bed by 9.
But yeah, I mean, I'm going to like, I'll say like, yes, I've always been a fan of music. I worked in music before real estate.
Oh, cool.
So live music, if any kind of artist, I'm down to go to.
Right. Do you go to like Coachella or Cross or anything like
The
that?
funny thing is, I've actually never been to Coachella.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of like, and like I said, I'm like, it's not like I'm just someone, if I'm not comfortable or if it's like crazy hot or I'm not in like VIP, I'm
Mhm.
probably not going to want to go. I'd rather just like not go.
100%. Yeah, I know it. The logistics of I've been to Coachella like twice, and like it's cool, like for sure, I get it. But sometimes I'm like, dude, it's like the people kind of suck. The logistics of everything is a lot, and unless you're doing like some VIP stuff, like I'm like I've kind of checked that box. I'm like, all right, I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of lines. And working in the music industry for the artists I work for is like, you don't like, you are the A+ celebrity of every event you go to, and you're not. You get spoiled. You're like, I'll just watch it on TV when it's done.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
The best place to go on tour, like if you're going to go see a huge artist, go somewhere international. It's so much more fun.
Oh, that's cool to know.
It's way more affordable.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see like in Europe or like a Berlin, or some I don't know.
Yeah, I did. I took my parents to Buenos Aires for Paul McCartney, and we did 2 nights in a row and like VIP, and
that's really cool.
Yeah, got to hang out with the band, and on a much more fun scale than if you were to go to like LA and go to that show.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the same caliber because also there's a million VIPs, there's a million people with tons of money.
Totally.
Yeah, it's just a different level. It's a lot more fun. Same thing. You can even in Europe, like you said, we went to I did Taylor Swift in London.
Cool.
That was a fun show too.
Very cool. Yeah, that's actually a nice note. I could definitely see that. Find where an artist is playing in a place where it's like it's a little easier to be a bigger fish.
Yeah. Oh, you can, and you spend way less money, and you get to go on the trip, and it's like more. It's better energy because it's different.
That's
especially like South America or like you go to Mexico City for a huge show. The energy is just, the crowd is insane. Cheering for everything.
Do you like Mexico City? I've gotten mixed reviews from people. I know some people it's their favorite city, and I know some people that have recently went. They're like, I don't get it.
They're in the wrong places.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite cities.
Yeah, okay,
I've been to like 80 something countries. Mexico City is legit.
That's cool. All right, that's good to hear. I mean, the people
they went to the wrong place. They don't know travel.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's like I think it's the number one largest.
Yeah, largest city in the world. It's either Tokyo or there, but they're both pretty massive.
Yeah. So I mean, you're bound to miss shit. If you don't kind of know where to go, like it makes a lot of sense. What other countries do you like? Where some of your favorite?
Australia's a great place. Sydney wise,
coffee.
Sydney for city.
Yeah. Sydney's really like San Diego. It's a similar vibe, right?
Yep. And then it feels like almost like if Seattle and San Diego were to blend.
That's so funny.
Like a major city on the water, but not as warm. Right. I feel like that almost same thing. Like Honolulu is kind of as similar to Sydney.
Cool.
Tokyo is a lot of fun, but I think I've been too many times recently to where I'm tapped out. Always love Paris. Always love London.
Yeah. Cool. You're a city guy. You like cities.
Yeah, and I'm all for like. I just went to Whitefish, Montana.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I'm a travel person. I just like to go.
I love it.
Go and experience places.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's some of the greatest challenges that you deal with on a regular basis?
People.
Yeah.
Staffing. It's never like we don't have like issues because I snip problems like quickly. I make decisions fast. But finding people that want to have, and then also the time constraint to train the person properly.
Right.
A lot of times we just kind of like bring people on and then you're just like, well, fucking figure it out. But that's not how it works. You got to really document what you want. I think having, clear checklist and check-ins with people.
Yeah.
So you have your weekly meetings. And like I said, it's like, hey, it's on our Tuesday agenda. Just throw it there. We'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And having that clear agenda with the talking points so you don't skip things.
Right.
So it's not like a month goes by and you're like, oh shit, we haven't really thought about online orders, or we haven't thought about this for our lead sources for real estate or whatever's going on.
Yeah. And do you take a long time to kind of like find the right people or to mentor people from within, or what's been kind of your formula for surrounding yourself by the right people?
To be honest, I'm not the best at interviewing, so I have nothing to do with it. My team, Paul and Kiwana, interview, and then they come to me if they think like I need to meet the person, or if it's like a higher caliber person that we're trying to recruit in, I'll meet with them. Little do they know, like I'm the worst person to talk to. They know more, but for some reason, if I'm the owner, they're like, oh, they get like,
yeah, you're on. It's your ass is on the line, not theirs.
No. Like they think it, like the people that are interviewing think it's cool that they're talking to the owner, and I'm like, I'm the guy that doesn't know shit.
Yeah,
so,
that's funny.
They're actually better to talk to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I have good people there, and then just I think like focusing on their goals, like my main people, leaning into them, like, hey, do you want to buy a house? Like, what's your goal? What are the process? Like, how much are you making? And I should know I'm paying them, but sometimes I don't. Like, how much are you making? And like, is it enough to start saving away for a house? And then how many months will that take? And having that roadmap for them to help them achieve their own personal goals.
Yeah. So did you have mentors in that same way? Like, was there people that kind of mentored you, or? Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
Like a little bit. I've had coaches, but a coach and a mentor is totally different. I have people that, I find that because of everything I'm doing, I find it's more of like, not mentorship, but it's more maybe my peers that I learn from. So people that are also doing it.
Yeah.
I think the industry's changed so much. So like if I have a mentor who's maybe like, a 60-year-old man who owned a real estate company,
right,
and he's retired or sitting back, his way of building the real estate company would not work today.
That's
like
really
it might, but it's a totally different industry.
Totally.
And what I do to build my business is probably different than majority of people as well.
Yeah.
And there's a few people in the country that I can chat with about it.
Yeah.
But I think I learned probably more from my peers than I do from like a mentor.
Yeah, that's pretty valid. And how do you find these peers, or like how do you surround yourself by people that you want to learn from?
Be in the right rooms. Don't be an asshole, meaning don't always be the one that's asking for advice. Like, and don't, you don't want to be like offering advice when it was never asked. But if you can create an environment where you do a weekly call, and instead of like, for example, coffee shop wise, I have one coffee shop. I have a friend who owns 3. His friend owns 10. It's like, hey guys, we should get together weekly and do a weekly mastermind.
Right.
Every week we'll go through these different topics, but we won't jump to the next week until we finish that topic. Like I don't want to bounce around too much.
Yeah.
Like let's tackle some problems.
Right.
And so that's been huge for us, is like having that on a weekly basis. And it was just, I don't even know the other guy. Like it was through a friend.
That's cool. And how has your idea of success changed over the years?
I don't know if I ever have like an idea of success, because I feel like if I'm like, oh, I'm successful, I'm like, compared to what?
Yeah. Sure.
Not in Southern California, I'm broke.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's hard to use like I feel like everyone has some degree of like financial goal that can determine success. But yeah, I mean, I've met a lot of people who make a lot of money but kind of hate their lives. Like I feel like they're trying to escape their lives, and I'm like, to me that doesn't seem like success. But it
happiness
also
is success.
Yeah.
Money-wise, like, to be honest, like I have a fucking huge house.
Yeah.
Well, big for me. It's like 4,000 square feet.
Yeah.
There's 2 people that live here. No kids, 2 dogs. Like that to me is ridiculous. Like I'm like, the only reason I'm still in this house, my mortgage is so low. I'm like, I'm not going to sell it. But I was probably happier in my 600 square foot place.
Yeah.
It's easier to take care of. It's just like, it's not, I don't know. It's different, but it is, I think if you're not happy now, money will not make you happier. Money is an accelerator of what your true characteristics are. If you're a horrible human, you're going to be a horrible rich person. Like, and it just accelerates everything, you know?
Yeah.
And if you're a really nice person, you give you money, you'll just be a really nice person that just accelerates it, makes more money, starts a nonprofit, does, you know,
Yeah. Right.
good things for the community.
Right.
But yeah, if you're seeking happiness through money or success that way, you're doing it wrong. You need to go to yoga. You need to do breath work. You need to do meditation.
Some mushrooms.
Gratitude. Yeah, writing out your gratitude list.
Yeah, that's a big one. You know,
I'm like totally happy where I'm at. I don't need more money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get more money. Because my favorite thing is to like take all my friends on like amazing trips and concerts front row and like, hey, you want to go to Europe in like 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Like, I got it for you. I bought my friend business class seats yesterday. Like, and she's successful. I just gave it to her and her daughter.
Yeah, I'm sure people like really appreciate feeling valued like that, you know. It's a nice one. So what's a lesson that, or did I already ask you this? What's a lesson that you learned the hard way?
You did not ask, but I don't dwell, like, I don't know if it's naive or I'm just like an idiot, but I don't think about like, not saying I don't think about the mistake, but I don't dwell on like the past, to where I almost like just pivot and move on.
Yeah, that's good.
Because also at the point of making the mistake and the outcome, I didn't know that what I was doing was creating the mistake. So it's not like I did anything wrong to create that.
Sure.
It's not like I robbed a bank and then I got caught. Like, okay, the robbing the bank was the mistake.
Right.
It's usually in life and in business is like, we have you get caught and you're like thinking, oh, what could I have done? And you're like, well, until you played the whole tape out, like you didn't know it was going to end this way.
Yeah.
But when it does screw up, or whatever process you created in your new business or whatever, and it's screwing up and you're not checking in and seeing how can we improve this, you know, and taking feedback, and like feedback to me from people is not complaining. It's not anything. It's literally like, give this to me. I have no idea how you feel about the process or the situation. Like, we need to work on this together. If it's not working, let's change it. And I make changes quickly. My number one agent on my team, she yesterday told me, she goes, the one thing I admire about you most is that you will execute at such a fast and high level without thinking like, oh, this could make a mistake, because you really don't know.
Totally.
And so thinking back on mistakes is like, no, mistakes are part of the process.
For sure. And there's that whole concept of like analysis paralysis, and it's like you make a mediocre decision, you know, fast, because you're going to learn more from testing that you know, stimulus more than you're going to like create the perfect, you know, answer that's just going to never like, you might waste all this time and still make that mistake. And if you can execute and make decisions, you know, twice as fast or 5 times as fast as the competition, you're just going to have an exponential, you know, learning curve, you know, relative to everyone else. So I think that's a really good lesson as well.
Started like, I used to sell designer shoes in college to women at Nordstrom.
Yeah.
People would be like, they'd be like, I don't know which ones I should get. Like, I like would look at something and I'm like, you put the shoe on, you look in the mirror, you're like,
yeah,
that one or that one. Like, that's the only, like, I am so like decision based so quickly.
Yeah.
And get both. What do you mean, which one? No. Buy both of them. I get commission.
Come on. We got a great return policy.
No, don't return them, because that comes back off my commission when I was in college. You'd clock in, you go to clock in at work, and it's because I would always work the after school shift.
Yeah.
So I'd go at 3:00. And I worked 3 to 9 every day at Nordstrom downtown Seattle.
Yeah.
You clock in, you're like, I'm negative $1,200 for the day. So you literally start in the hole. So you work for free till you get out of that, and then you have to sell more.
Brutal, dude.
Oh, it was awful. Like when people did returns.
What school did you go to? UW?
Seattle U.
Oh, Seattle U. Cool.
Yep. Same kind of school as like Loyola Marymount.
Yeah.
Jesuit. So it's like USD, but Jesuit.
Cool. Yeah. That's great. Let's see. We're pretty much
It's a business school, which I think taught me nothing, but who knows?
You know, I feel like it's like network. That's kind of, I mean, for sure. You know, I don't know.
I'm all for education. Like,
right.
I think going to college and all that, I think it's great.
Right.
I don't think people should get into debt over it.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Especially if you're an art or poetry degree or art history degree, or don't go to a private school and get in 40 grand in debt and then think shit, I don't know why I can't get out of this.
Dude, totally. I know the GI Bill has been crazy. I got my undergrad in finance from University of Oregon, so I was up in the Pacific Northwest too. And then after school, or after school, I joined the military. After the military, I went to USD, got some master's degrees, MBA stuff, and I've found that going to a big school was kind of a good thing at 18 because especially I went to like a small high school. It was like a very like a liberal arts school, whatever, and like you're a little precious snowflake, you're so smart and everything, and then you go out into a bigger state school and it's like you're a number and you need to figure out what that means, how you're gonna fucking exist in the world as a number. And then so you build those skills, and then kind of coming back to grad school, it's not like there's some code that they've unlocked. Like now I have the hidden knowledge to be successful. That's not what you learn from there. But you start seeing the value of a small place like a Loyola Marymount or USD, and you're like, oh, this is a small network of people that I can actually get FaceTime with, and it's who you know, not what you know. In the end of
Yep. Well, dude, and that's like people say about that all the time. They're like, "Oh, I would never send my kid to a private school," and I'm like, to be honest, like, yeah, majority of the private schools and also like some of the religions and things are, take it with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, I mean, the networking. Like, dude, my brother's best friend is like Phil Knight's grandson.
Yeah.
The Nordstroms went to school with me. The Nordstrom daughters, the grandkids.
Right. Right.
Freaking, who else went to my school? Howard Schultz's son went to school with me.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, Jordan Schultz was in my freaking business class.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, and then what it becomes is like, do your homework, don't fail out of school, but like, your goal should be like, how do I meet these people, and not like in a like predatory like leech, like oh you're somebody important, I'm gonna but in a way I'm like, how do you build relationships with these people so that they want to fucking hang out with you, because people want to do things, they want to help out people that they like, know, and trust, and you build those qualities through like genuine interaction with people.
Yep, my friend's 27. He's staying in our house right now, like just visiting for the weekend. And he said, I'm not sure what I'm going to do after this, like where I'm going to go next. He's traveling all over, and he day trades, so he can be anywhere. Yeah. And he's just taking like kind of like a career break, not sure what he wants to do next. He's like, I'm thinking about maybe going to Africa and like climbing. Maybe I'll do like Kilimanjaro. And I'm like, yes, like go do Kilimanjaro. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've done it. And he's like, you climb Kilimanjaro? I'm like, yeah. But those are the talking points that when you meet the right people, and you're like, oh, I volunteered in an orphanage.
Totally.
Like, go do all that shit now. You're in your 20s. Totally. So then you have the stories and the connections.
Right. Otherwise, you're going to be like, cool, I got a 3.9 GPA. And like, you work at fucking McKinsey, and you're going to give mediocre advice to everyone that doesn't want to take it anyway, because, what the fuck do you know?
Funny thing is that when you just hit 3.9 and all that, basically example. Yeah. My uncle was one of the very first employees for Microsoft.
Oh, wow.
And very, 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 very successful man.
Yeah.
He said, I will never, and I never have hired someone with straight A's. He was like, that means they've done absolutely nothing outside of just the curriculum.
You don't hire losers here.
Like, they didn't ever question the curriculum. They didn't ever think outside the box and like grew up on something. Like, and if you can only just follow task, like that's not the employee I want.
Totally. Like, 100%.
I'm not looking for an accountant. Like an accountant, someone you want that just like tax strategist. You want them to be the person that's like, okay, this out. Yeah.
You want a cowboy. That's awesome.
So,
well, dude, this has been great. I know that you got a lot going on, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I would love to talk a little bit more, maybe offline, about getting some of adaptogen products, trying them out, maybe in your shop. Hell yeah, brother. We're selling down the street too. We just got into the Botanist. We have
I heard
a golden milk, dude, and it's crushing. It's like they've been selling out. But yeah, we can follow up about it. I want to make it make sense for you, but
no worries. So I have to do right now 1 tablespoon of this.
Yeah.
1 cup of hot milk, coffee or alternative, and then I just blend it.
Yeah, so what I would do if you're making this at home, as though you want to do it in like at the coffee shop, because that's how I would, is get about an ounce of hot water,
Okay.
put a tablespoon in a cup, ounce of hot water. So now that kind of makes your espresso shot, and then do your milk. Do steamed milk, or you can do any type of milk, and then kind of pour it on top. Yeah, mocha. There's the that one's like a chai flavor, the Moonlight. There's the
Yep.
mocha, which is like a hot cocoa. And then, dude, the golden milk, we don't have a retail pack for it. We actually started doing it for the botanists because they were like, dude, do a golden milk. I think it might be my favorite one. Like I actually want to kind of get it into a retail packs now because I'm a big fan. I don't know if you've had a golden milk before, but it's like a turmeric based kind of like
Yep.
deal. But that one, I think will probably be one of our top sellers. But yeah, give it a go, man. I hope you like it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll try it today because I've been telling you, I'm like, I've been so damn busy, and then
No, I
it's
feel you, dude.
been ready to go, but I need to do it.
No, it'll be good. You'll the shrooms will have you fucking flying, doing math out in space. No, it's kidding.
There you go.
They're non psychedelic. It's all functional stuff. This now you can say this is what you do for your wellness routine. You drink functional
Oh yeah.
mushrooms.
There you go.
Dude, well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. Give me a couple weeks to kind of get this out. I've been crazy busy studying for the law school right now, but I will make sure that I let you know when this releases, and I'll give you some social media stuff. You can post it out on your stuff. If you want to plug, if you want to let everyone know kind of where they can find you, maybe where they can reach out, how they can get a hold of you for real estate or coffee shop stuff.
For sure, yeah. So if you look up Mark Pattison on Instagram, Mark Pattison Show, and easiest way is just to DM me there. You can also look up PorchLight Coffee. We're based in San Diego and Pacific Beach, so definitely happy to. You can DM me on either one of those. Easiest way is through Instagram.
Sweet, awesome. All right, thank you again. This is in the Mind Body Mushroom, brought to you by Win NC Coffee. Mark Pattison. Excellent interview. A lot of great stuff we talked about today. I'm really stoked for this. Cool, dude. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, later, man.